There is a big story that is brewing within the WGA. We already know the WGA was probably hurt more than helped by the strikes. And if things could not go from bad to worse, now you have the shrinking of the industry, this contraction that's about to occur with fewer television shows and fewer movies are going to be made. Budgets are thin. And maybe there's no better time than to do this. Force your members to identify themselves within certain categories. I received screenshots this morning from a WGA member who sent me this. It's 3 parts. I'll show you the first part here, and hopefully you can see it. Members of the WGA are being asked to identify themselves in many categories. Now, just as someone who has hired people throughout my career, hired a lot of different people from all walks of life, all I care about is that you love movies. You can have different type of love of different types of genre of film. Don't care. Are you passionate about film? You're going to fit in at Film Threat really well.
By the way, when you were hiring people, doing this would have been a civil rights violation.
When I hired Alan to be a part of Film Threat, and probably one of the best decisions I ever made, I never asked Alan's sexuality. Can you see that? Is it visible on the screen?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely make it bigger. Yeah.
What they're not only asking is, one, they want it's just a tab, writer's background. They're creating a list. How well have things gone whenever writers have been put on lists? Let's see. The beginning of the list here is your sexuality, starting with heterosexual. You get 1 box to check there. LGBTQ plus, and underneath that, asexual, bisexual / pansexual, gay, lesbian, queer, unspecified. In addition, are you a writer who's over 40? Are you a writer who's over 50? Are you a writer who's over 60? The Writers Guild wants to know, and the people that do hiring in television and film, somehow this data is important to them. Let's go to the next. I'm going to stop screen. I'm going to show you. So that is the first of 3 screenshots that were sent to me. Let's look at this one right here. Okay, here's the next one. Your gender identity. Of course, you have under female, and I don't know why the subheads are female, transgender, transfeminine, transmasculine, unspecified male. You get 1 box, or non-binary. Disability, a list of disabilities. So if you would like to hire someone for your TV show who has limb difference, I'm gonna read these off. Can you see those well enough, Alan, on the screen?
No, but yeah, there you go.
Okay, a little bigger here. Disability, autoimmune condition, or chronic illness. I don't know. I guess chronic illness is fairly common. And by the way, in terms of a group, people that are disabled are the largest, quote, marginalized group. I know that because I have friends that are so-called disabled. You know what I don't do? I don't call them my disabled friends. I call them my friend. I call my friends by their names. So do you have a disability, autoimmune condition, chronic illness, blind or low vision, cognitive disorder, deaf or hard of hearing, dwarfism, limb difference, mental disorder, mobility disability, neurodiverse, physical disfigurement, and unspecified? Now, we did a video last year where Sundance basically asked all the attending press questions that are of this type. Whenever I'm asked to do that, I always, quote, prefer not to answer. That is my answer to that, because I think that, frankly, these kinds of questions are personally invasive. I don't want to be judged by who I sleep with, or my gender, or my thoughts. I have one last box to share with you. Let's take a look at this one. A lot of things. I don't know if I'm going to be able to read all of these. This is your ethnicity. The list is too long for me to read, but I'm going to give you should I zoom in, Alan? Can you see that all right? A little bigger here. Okay.
Yeah, a little bit. But I think we get the idea, though.
Okay. Ethnicity: African American, Black, African, Central Sub-Saharan African, Eastern African, Northern African, Southern African, Western African, unspecified. Alan, would you read the Asian categories?
Yes. Burmese, Chinese, East Indian, Filipino, Indian, Indonesian, Japanese, Korean, Maoran. Maori. Sorry, I can't read it.
Right.
Native Hawaiian, Samoan, South Asian, Sri Lankan, Taiwanese, Thai, Vietnamese. Hey, but hold on a second. But Middle Eastern is also considered Asian.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Now I'll read the next one, and then you can read European/white, Armenian, French, Greek, Italian, Polish, Portuguese, Scandinavian, Spanish, Welsh, white or Caucasian, and unspecified. I mean, I don't know what to say to that. There's Indigenous Australian is just one, gets its own box. How about you read this one? Because
okay, so Latinx, Afro-Latinx, Brazilian, Central American, Cuban, Dominican, Haitian, Mexican, Nicaraguan, Puerto Rican, South American, unspecified.
Now, are you able to check multiple boxes?
I'm pretty sure you are.
Yep. So, for example, I have a stepsister who happens to be half Black, half white.
By the way, I don't know if you noticed that in the upper right-hand corner, there's a select all button.
Select all. Okay, now we've got Middle Eastern, Afghan, Arabic, Ashkenazi Jewish. Boy, that seems
Ashkenazi.
Like it says Ashkenazi. Okay, I'm pronouncing that incorrect. I'm looking at Alan. I'm just going to zoom in on this because I want you to. Can you see that? It says Ashkenazi Jewish.
I know, but that's not how you pronounced it.
Okay, well, I did it wrong. Assyrian, Egyptian, Iraqi, or Israeli, or Jordanian, Kuwaiti, Lebanese, North African, Omani, Persian/Iranian, Syrian, Turkish, unspecified, and then the last one is Native American/Indigenous. Okay, Alan, why is the WGA forcing its members to check all these boxes?
Well, it's easy. If you're going to do a show about the African American experience, you would want only African Americans to write about it. If you are going to write a story about the LGBT community, depending on which form of LGBT you are, we can filter it down by that box. And if you want to write a story about the white experience, we can filter out a lot of people and allow only white people to write about the white experience.
Well, I think that's sort of a small-minded way of looking at things. I think while there may be, just as in anything, in some things that are intended to be, there's a good reason we're doing this. We want to demographically break down our ranks of the WGA to prove we're not racist. Though there's only one checkbox that's missing from this. Good writer. A good writer. I would like to hire a good writer without regard to what they look like. Maybe I'm strange here, but I've always thought that, like, I just want quality people to write for my website. Now, the WGA writer that sent this to me said that members are kind of incensed by having to be forced to fill this out, so that now they have this data that could be used maybe in a good way, but maybe not in a good way.
Yeah.
Maybe in a way to be prejudiced towards a writer you haven't met based on their outward appearance. I mean, what's that saying about the road paved with good intentions?
Yeah. Oh, the road to hell is paved with good intentions.
Could this be a road to hell? I don't know. I don't think it's a good thing. I don't think that categorizing writers and throwing them into checkboxes, I would click unspecified on everything because it should be irrelevant. what it's going to do, it's going to narrow the opportunities for certain types of people. And I don't think it's not going to do the good that was intended. And, you know, we're already getting people from the Disney company coming to us over the D files. All of this comes down to DEI, which has infected every company here that makes film and TV. The person who sent me this is going to be writing a story, and there's a lot more to show. This is just a taste. We will let you know when the story comes out. We'll cover it. It's going to be sometime next week. So next week, we've got part 2 of the D files, and we're going to follow up on this. So there you go. Any final thoughts? I'd like to go to the chat, and we've got a lot to do today.
No, I mean, this is just incredible that, that we've come to this point where, you know, there was a time where, look, grew up not white for a very long time. And, you know, to me, the fight was always the opportunity, equal opportunity, access to equal opportunity, equal access to opportunity. There we go. I got it. And it was just the chance to be at the table, to say that, hey, I've worked hard. I think I can write as well as anybody else. Now let my work be judged against other work. And in fact, hey, maybe allow me to learn from you, and then become a great writer. And I hate to say it, but diverse writers and directors have come up through that system where they were mentored, and they learned good storytelling. They learned how to direct. They learned how to write. They learned how to act. And now we've gone to the point where you just throw all that out, and it's all about your skin color. It's all about where you claim you came from. And it's, you know, again, Hollywood is not the dream. And this is a typical Hollywood system. And this is the system that you are going to insert yourself into if you want to become a big Hollywood writer and a big Hollywood success. And again, I'm going to beat this drum the entire year. Hollywood is not the dream.
I'm just bringing this to your attention. And what I hope is that if this video gets out there in a way that other people see it, if you're seeing things happening within the industry, you need to speak out, because and this is a warning coming from me. If you don't speak out now to help save the industry, there won't be an industry to save, and Hollywood will become less and less relevant, and the storytelling will be less and less resonant around the world. And the movies that come out of Hollywood are just not going to be among the most loved. The last 2 years, my 2 favorite films came from other countries. My favorite film this year, Godzilla -1, Japanese movie. My favorite film of last year was RRR, a Tollywood film by director S.S. Rajamouli. So there you go, folks. This is where we're at.